Hello, David R. Becker with BeckerArt. In today's newsletter video, I want to go over using your creative artistic license, meaning so much that this weekend I was in class and I was watching some of my students, and I started thinking about how many of the students who are new feel like they need to copy the photo. And basically what they're doing is, and basically, yes, you are using a photo to copy from. A lot of times you're copying a drawing, you're doing the drawing because you want it to look like the photo a little bit, a lot. and so there's different kind of styles, there's different kinds of mediums. I'm teaching watercolor with a more of impressionistic style. There are people who like it to be more hyper realistically done, where it's really hyper realistic, so it almost looks like a photo. So I was just thinking to myself that you as an artist don't have to do exactly what you see on there. And that meaning that when you're working it out, when you're working out your value study and then you're doing your drawing and all that, and you're getting into your painting, you are not a copy machine unless you want to be. And if you want to be a hyperrealist where you're making like the photograph, then you can better do it in a way that it looks identical to that, and make even project your image onto a board to get the drawing exactly like the photo. But I'm teaching more to use your imagination, and also when you get all that teaching, or that when you're learning about all the fundamentals of doing a painting, you're going to look for things like tangents and get rid of those tangents and make it a really good value pattern, right? I'm always talking about value pattern, using the right value pattern, getting the right color scheme going for you. So all that stuff matters. That's all going to be part of it. But when you're actually doing the actual photo, when you're taking the photo or you're in plein air, you have that in front of you, and that's what you're painting, right? And so you don't have to be a camera. You can be an artist and make it look like whatever you want it to look like. It can be a red building, but you can turn it blue if you like. That's the one nice thing about being an artist. You can do whatever you want. You can make that thing look blue. The bricks are all blue because you want to make this thing all blue. Maybe you want to make it abstract. Maybe you want to make it as clear and more intense than what is right there in front of you. So let me just explain what I did here I went and I was in Red Wing and I did this plein air. And so I just want to show you how I do that in plein air. It's the same way you do it when you're in the studio working from a photo. So here, if I'm looking for a place to paint the actual item in plein air and right in front of the object, a lot of times I couldn't get right where I wanted to. So you draw it in one place, you paint it in another place because it started raining, so I had to get underneath something. I got underneath my car, and I couldn't park my car in the sidewalk, so I have to change things around, right? So in this scenes, it just took me about 3 days to do, and I'm not 3 full days. It's like maybe an hour for one thing, the next day another hour, and then maybe the third day 15 minutes. So it's basically you are looking for a place. And then if you got a photograph, you're looking at the photograph, and then you see what you like to paint, and then you're going to do a value study. And then you're also going to look for things like if there's tangents, if something lines up, or there's something that's odd about the picture, right? And so you can move things around. You can do whatever you want. So for this one, I took the shot, and I looked around with my viewfinder, and I found a place that you see right in this picture. And it was a little bit farther. I'm going to take my thing. I was standing a little bit farther over here, a little bit farther on this side right over here. And I drew it up. I drew it up the first day. And one thing about the drawing of it, you can do that at any time. If you're doing a nocturnal, you don't have to do it at night, the drawing, because that's not going to change. The buildings are not going to change. The cars will probably change, or they won't be there. But things that are solid and they're going to stay there, they're going to stay there. So you can do the drawing firsthand. And then the second day when I went out here, now it started raining, which I wanted it. And the first day it wasn't raining. I went out there, drew it. Second day I go out there and I go to paint it. And I am underneath in the back of my car, I have the latch, and I go underneath that because it was raining. And you can see there's actually in the painting, because it was raining pretty hard sometimes, and it kind of came down into it, a little mist. So I had little droplets in there, which I thought was pretty cool because, it looks like it's raining then. And so I'm a little bit farther to the right when I'm actually painting this. But you see how, like I took things out, like there was a flag on the top here. There was no cars here. That when I drew it, the day I drew it, I sat there and I looked at the object, and there were so many trucks going by, and I know I do that kind of for my imagination. You can also do it, pick up a car that's sitting down here, or if take a picture of a truck and look at it. It's all there. The drawing comes first, then after you do your initial little thumbnail of the area and take your viewfinder and actually figure out what you're going to paint, then you do the drawing, then you do your painting, and then finally I do my details. I come back like the third day just to make things good, if I feel like there's something has to be. And a lot of times I'll go inside to do things like lettering. If there's lettering and it's really like raining out here and it's all misty and stuff, I'll just take it inside. And if there's anything really small that I need to do, like something that just needs my attention and really small, then I will do that inside. I'll just take it to the studio and take it into the studio and finish the lettering and stuff like that. But then again, see how I change things. And so I want to show you another one real quickly here. This one was, again, I stood in front of a door of a building that I didn't realize was the entrance to this store. And I had, again, the first day, drew it from that spot, and it was on like a evening. I drew it in the evening, came back the next day because I was waiting for it to rain. And then when it started raining, I went out there. And as you can see, I'm painting it from like way a distance away from where I was at when I first did the drawing. But yeah, if you have the drawing, you pretty much know what's going on, and you know where your darks and lights are because you were there that first day and figured it all out, and then did your drawing, and now then you go paint it. The drawing sometimes takes half an hour, if sometimes even an hour, if it's really complex. This wasn't too complex. I think it took me about half an hour. And so the next day, I waited for the rain, and then it rained, and here's me painting it in the rain. And if you can see, I am like, when I'm drawing it, I'm way over here. I am almost on the curb on the side corner. And then I had to move away from the door when I was the door of the building that had the store. It didn't even look like the front of the store door. And so the lady came out and said, "Oh, you can't paint right there. The store's about to open." And so I'm like, "Oh man." So I went way over here. But you got the gist of it, right? I mean, you still see pretty much everything. I don't see the one side. And a couple times I just walked down to the side of the corner, and then I got the look on, found out what certain colors were. But it's not that difficult if you've been sitting there drawing it to then next day just paint it, because you know your value patterns and stuff. And there's the colors right in front of objects, and so you make it up, some of the stuff. All right, and that was the second one I did there. And then I just want to show you the third one. Then this one, it had never rained. And I was really bummed because I did the 1, 2 first, and then it got nice again the next couple of days. And so I was going to do this one too. But so I had to make this one up. I mean, I had to totally make this one up to where it did not rain on the street when so I drew it up when it was not raining, and then I painted it when it was not raining. And also the same thing, I was not right here, but I had to get out of the sun. The sun was blaring in my eyes, and it wasn't a sunny day. It was an overcast when I drew it. And so I had to move over. And again, I moved over a little bit, not that much. And so as you can see, I didn't get the lighting that was there right there, but I just made it up. So I used my artistic license, and I thought the last 2 paintings I did were in the street and wet streets, and I like that look of rain scenes, and so that's what I did here. I kind of made it up then, and you're allowed to do that. That's not something that you can't do. You got to do exactly what you see up there. Yes, you can do exactly what you see up there, but you can do whatever you want on your painting. I could make this thing and take the awnings down if I want to. I can do whatever I want to this painting. And you got to realize that as a beginner, is that you're not just copying a photo to a T. You don't have to do that. You can make it up and be creative. Be creative with your artwork. And if you feel like you want to make it on a rainy day and it's not rainy, or if your photograph is rainy, and then you don't want to make it rainy, just figure it out. You can, when when the sun's out, when it's hitting from this, know where your light source is, and it's all kind of fun that you don't have to do exactly what you see. And that becomes something you can do even if you're, if something looks odd, change it. And you're going to tell me it's like, well, it's like that in the photo, so I should do whatever in the photo. You can, but if it's a bad composition, if it's a bad light pole that cuts the painting in half or whatever it does that's not making it look good, well, then change it. Change it so that it's going to look better. You are the artist. You have the artistic license to do whatever you want on that painting. And also the colors and everything you can do. So give yourself a break when you're actually doing something. And unless, like I said, if you want to be a hyper-realist and make it look exactly like the photo, then it's going to take you about 70 hours to do that painting. And they look great. I mean, they look really, really great when you do that, but it's a whole different way of painting. But still, even if you are doing hyperrealism, you got to make sure that photograph is really good. And if you got to change things, you got to change things there too. It doesn't matter, because sometimes the photograph or whatever gives you outdoors, whatever you're getting outdoors may not be exactly a great composition. So then you have to change it. I don't care if it's hyperrealism or if it's just impressionism or abstract. You have to make it look like a good design. And if there's not good design in your photograph and you're making it look like a photograph, then you got to change that. So use your artistic license and don't be so tough on yourself and looking at the photo and saying, oh my God, I didn't get that color. Really? You don't need to get that color. If you do need to get that color, and you better be a really good photographer. And then also looking on the screen and looking at a print is two different things too, because every screen you'll look at that painting on will look different because whatever the monitor is monitored, whatever is, what's the word? Whatever the monitor has, is the light is dialed up to, that's what you're going to get. Some has a warm screen and a cool screen, and it may not be, in the right exact, thing that every one of the monitors are looked at and make sure they're all the same. That doesn't happen. So basically, get your painting or your photograph, and they don't have to look the same. They're just there to help you as a reference. If they are for you to make it look exactly like it, make sure your photograph is really good, because then you're going to need to, make sure that the photograph has everything right about it, all the composition and stuff. But if you're doing like I'm doing it impressionistically, change everything if you want. Change it in from, a snow scene if you want. If I want to make this a snow scene, I can do that. You can do whatever you want. So give yourself a break and have fun. More importantly, if you don't have fun and you're always constantly being discouraged by painting, it's like, that's not going to make you paint very much. So I actually love to go out there and paint. It's one of those things I can't wait to do. And so make it so that your painting is fun, and do whatever you want to do. Don't, I may tell you things that are fundamentally wrong with it, and change some of those fundamentals about the thing. So make that, and that's pretty simple, the big fundamental things that are really wrong with it. But if it's even if you don't make them all correct, that's okay. Just have fun with it and actually paint a lot, and you'll learn so much from painting a lot. All right, so we'll see you on Thursday when we're doing a paint along on Thursday, and then again on Sunday when I do my demo with David. All right, we'll see you then. Bye bye.